that Jim Dolan was not prepared to offer Kevin Durant the max contract with the Knicks. Okay, we've lost
What are we doing?
That's it.
What are they doing?
Coach Joerger, what do you make of that news? Okay.
Really? Really?
This is correct. Producer Danny says that this is crank-worthy news. I've lost the tweet up on my screen because there's so many going and going. I don't know if we can get up on the screen for you as soon as our producers can build it out. But what do you make of that? I mean, can you react on camera for us, please?
Look, there's a cost of doing business in this league, right? You got a guy the caliber of Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. I get it. He tore an Achilles. You want to be cautious. But at the end of the day, you know that there's a line of teams that are all willing, right? Golden State was willing. Brooklyn was willing. Clippers were probably willing. You can't be the one guy in the room who says, you know what? I'm going to second-guess all these other teams and their processes because we've been so great at it in New York. and I mean, this is just the kind of stuff that...
I'm going to just read you all of Ramona's tweets
please.
Since I have it. The Knicks owner, Jim Dolan, not prepared to offer Kevin Durant a full max contract due to concerns over his recovery from the Achilles injury, league sources tell Ramona and Woj. Knicks officials in Los Angeles tonight meeting with free agents like Julius Randle. Okay, continue.
There's an argument to be made that if you know that you don't have the stomach to do that, fine, right? But you've been pitching to your fan base for months that this was going to be for years, yes, for years, that this summer was going to be different, that this was going to be a transformative summer for you. You can't get cold feet at this point. I know it's a risk. I know it's a risk, but it's Kevin Durant. It's a guy who's worth that risk. This isn't like Amari Stoudemire, right, who had medicals going in that people knew was...
He could get the Knicks could not get insurance on Amari Stoudemire, and they offered him that huge deal anyway. And I don't know.
I was in Phoenix. I was in Phoenix when we drew up the deal for Amari, and it wasn't 100% guaranteed. And the Knicks went in and said full guarantee.
Right.
So the incumbent team that has all the information on the player said I wouldn't trust it. The Knicks jumped foolishly, and then ended up with a guy who, after a year or so, started breaking down. Mm-hmm. In this case, the incumbent team, the Golden State Warriors, that we know are one of the best-run teams in the league, said 5-year max. Mm-hmm. You have to take that risk at this point because if you're not willing to take that risk, you shouldn't have even taken a meeting. Yeah. Really, honestly.
I mean, Coach, you've had to play against Kevin Durant over and over these last few years. The force that you still expect him to be after this Achilles injury, or are there red flags for you too?
He is. First of all, I thought they would be in on it. Scott Perry helped draft Kevin Durant in Seattle back in the day, so I thought that that would be a little bit closer of a race there. I'm hoping he comes back and is as terrific as we all know that he is, and we're talking Brooklyn's deep. Brooklyn's got some margin for error.
But would you take the risk on him after that Achilles injury?
Absolutely.
There you go. Okay, Ramona, please come back on here.
Just walk in?
Just walk on in.
Walk in.
Come stand with me. Come stand with my friend.
Take a seat.
No.
Okay,
Take
stand right here. I'll stand over by this.
Take over by.
I'll put some magnets.
Come actually, because I'm gonna hit this. To herald Ramona's arrival. And Ramona, I just want to point out, I said just take a quick break. You use that to make a phone call, and boom, news is reported. Can you give us some depth on this?
Yeah. So the New York Knicks, when they were scheduled to talk, meet, et cetera, with Kevin Durant, had some internal discussions about whether they were in the position to offer the max contract to Kevin Durant. Obviously, you don't take that meeting unless you're going to offer the full max.
Right.
They decided internally that they were too concerned about his recovery from the Achilles injury that they were not going to offer the full max contract to Kevin Durant. You don't even need a meeting if you're not going to offer the full max.
What was the reaction within the organization, though? Because you, in your tweet, painted this as, hey, owner Jim Dolan, this was coming from the top. We all talk to Scott Perry a lot. We think of him as a really smart front office guy. You worked with him in Sacramento. What was the reaction within the organization when this top-down decision was made?
There were some. I think Jim Dolan would have done what his basketball people wanted him to do. And Scott Perry, I think, thought he had a shot at Kevin Durant. Now, there's going to be a lot of chicken and egg here, okay?
Right.
You can decide you don't want to offer the 4-year max if you don't think you're going to get him.
Right.
Either way. But they weren't going to offer him the max. And Scott Perry's not in New York right now. He wasn't sitting outside the door waiting to meet with Kevin Durant. He's in Los Angeles tonight, meeting with Julius Randle and other free agents in Los Angeles. So I think they've known for quite some time that they were not a serious person for Kevin Durant if they weren't prepared to offer that max. You're not even in the conversation because Brooklyn is, and so are the Warriors.
Right.
Probably so are the Clippers, although I can't say that right now. But if the Knicks were not going to give him the 4-year max, what are you even talking about?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, I didn't break up with you, you broke up with me. I mean, is there a little bit of that going on here too? Nick's just shaking his head. Nick has seen Kevin Durant play all season.
I mean, it's Kevin Durant. I'm with Coach. Like, you're watching a guy who has been so dominant for so many years. You've sold your fan base on, this is our summer, this is our time, this has been the chatter all along. Ramona, as usual with the Knicks, the optics are terrible. They're just really bad. Make sure it comes out. We offered him the max. We feel like we made every effort that we could. Exactly.
Look, I heard very similar concerns medically about Kristaps Porzingis in and around the time Phil Jackson talked about trading him. And it was, when the reports came out, Phil thinking about trading Porzingis, the entire league wanted to set their hair on fire, right?
Right.
He got hurt.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that that this is going to happen again with Kevin Durant, that he doesn't come back or whatever it is. But on some level, if you don't feel comfortable with that risk of a guy who's 30 years old and coming off an Achilles the way he will be, I hope they're wrong. I hope Kevin Durant comes back and is an incredible player and is worth every cent.
Well, Nick's right. The fan base, I think, is going to have something to say about this. I don't know why. Some back pages may be coming. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.